Hello everyone, welcome to Logic Medico, where we are understanding the concepts in medicine. Today's interesting topic is transfer of sound waves till the cerebral cortex. So let us start from the pinna. The pinna acts like a dish where it receives the sound wave. Also it helps in localization of sound wave. Here is the external auditory canal which transmits the sound wave or conducts the sound wave towards the middle ear. Then the sound wave, which is the mechanical energy, it falls on a membrane called tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane is now set into oscillation or vibration. It moves in and out of the middle ear. So this is the first part where the external ear helps in receiving the sound wave, localizing the sound wave and transferring the sound wave. The pinna helps in receiving and localizing. The external auditory canal helps in transferring the sound waves, which is a mechanical energy. Now moving on to the sound wave in the middle ear. Once the tympanic membrane has received the sound wave, it will now transmit the same sound wave to ossicles. They are the Malleus, the incus and the stapes. Kindly note, the surface area of the tympanic membrane is much larger than the footplate of stapes. So here amplification of the sound wave occurs for 18 times. Also the lever action of the Malleus over the incus, the Malleus is much longer. How much longer? 2 times larger than that of the incus and stapes. So ultimately there are 2 times amplification. So totally the sound wave undergoes 20 times amplification. This is called as transformer action of the middle ear, wherein the sound vibrations which can get lost or it can disappear because of the impedance or the resistance, it is overcome by the ossicular chain, which are arranged in such a way that it is similar to this nail. If you consider this as the head of the nail and this as the sharp edge of the nail, this is the tympanic membrane, this is the Malleus, then comes the incus, then comes the stapes. As you can see in this, so this is the Malleus, incus and stapes. It's comparable to the nail. Okay. So here there is an amplification of sound wave nearly 20 times, preventing the sound wave from dying before it reaches the inner ear. So therefore overcoming the resistance offered by the middle ear. Then moving on to the subsequent pathway, the footplate of stapes moves into one window called as oval window. Because the footplate of stapes is oval in shape, the window will be called as oval window. This is a stapes and this is the oval window. Okay. This will move in and out of the cochlea, oval window. The footplate of stapes will move in and out of it, creating a wave in a liquid called as endolymph. So when the wave is created in the endolymph, we have something called as organ of corti, in which hair cells are the receptor and other supporting cells will be there. We have the inner and the outer hair cells. Okay. So what happens when the wave is created in this liquid? This is the basilar membrane. It will move up and down. There will be shearing action. In such a way, the potassium ion enters the cell. When the potassium ion enters the hair cells within the organ of corti, the inside of the cell becomes more positive when compared to the outside. This process is called as depolarization. So once it is depolarized, the bottom of these hair cells will have cilia like this. One of them is tall and it's called kinetocilia. They are connected to the nerve endings. So the information which is there in the form of mechanical energy is now converted into an action potential, which is a nerve impulse. So mechanical energy can't be understood by the brain, but the nerve impulse or the action potential can be understood by the brain. So because of the entry of potassium ion in the endolymph into the hair cells, the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy, which the brain can understand. That electrical energy is called as action potential or the nerve impulse. So this action potential, because of the stimulus, it will have a upstroke and a downstroke. The upstroke is called as depolarization, whereas the downstroke is called as a repolarization. So what is this depolarization and repolarization? If the inside of the cell is more positive when compared to outside, it is called as depolarization. This occurs due to entry of K plus ion. If the inside of the cell is more negative when compared to the outside, then it is called as repolarization. This occurs due to exit of Cl minus ions, chloride ions, K plus means potassium ion. This entire cycle is called as action potential. These action potentials are important for the nerve impulse. This nerve impulse is going to jump from one node of Ranvier to the other node of Ranvier within the axons. So this nerve impulse is going to jump like this. Within fraction of a second it reaches the cerebral cortex where the sound is perceived. So let's see from where and all it will reach. Initially it will travel through this bipolar neuron. The collection of this bipolar neuron is called as spiral ganglia or the cochlear ganglia. So this is spiral ganglia, which is the first order neuron. From here the information reaches the pons. Here one set of nuclei is there, collection of another neurons. It is called ventral and dorsal cochlear nucleus. Okay, this is another collection of neurons. I am just showing one neurons. Also trapezoid body will be there here. Collection of millions of neurons at the pons. This is the pons. Then one more nucleus is there. It's called the superior olivary nucleus. Superior olivary nucleus. So what are the nucleus? I'll summarize. Ventral and dorsal cochlear nucleus. Cochlear nuclei. Number 1. And trapezoid body. Number 2. And superior olivary nucleus. These nucleus will receive the information from the bipolar neuron from the spiral ganglia. These are the second order neuron. They ascend upwards as the auditory tract. Auditory tract, also called the lateral meniscus. Let's consider this as a simple name. Auditory tract, lateral meniscus may be difficult for you. So auditory tract ends up in a portion of the midbrain. That portion of the midbrain is called as inferior colliculus. This inferior colliculus is concerned with auditory reflex. So few fibers end up in the inferior colliculus. What is auditory reflex? When someone calls you, reflexly you will turn towards that person. That is because of inferior colliculus. From here one descending tract will go down. It's called the tectospinal tract. Tectospinal tract. This is the inferior colliculus of the midbrain. Then from here the majority of the information goes to from the auditory tract to the MGB of thalamus. Thalamus is a portion deep within the brain. So to that, which part of the thalamus? MGB, medial geniculate body. Medial geniculate body of thalamus. Ultimately from the medial geniculate body of thalamus there is a radiation going towards the temporal lobe of the brain. To be specific, superior temporal gyrus. That portion is called the auditory cortex, where the sense of hearing is perceived in this area, and this is called as auditory radiation. Why is it called like that? Because it appears like a sunflower or the sun rays. So it's called auditory radiation. So to summarize, if I want to summarize, I'll come back to this cochlea. Here we have the organ of corti. In that hair cells are there. So from there, the hair cell, the information goes to first order neuron, which is a bipolar neuron. Where is it present? In the spiral ganglia or the cochlear ganglia. Information reaches the brainstem, that is a pons. There are second order neurons waiting there. They are the cochlear nuclei. Ventral and dorsal cochlear nuclei. These are the nuclei. Then trapezoid body. Then superior olivary nucleus. From there the information reaches to two destinations. One is inferior colliculus of the midbrain, where the third order neuron is there. It is concerned with auditory reflex. And another place is medial geniculate body of thalamus, the sensory relay station, the thalamus. From there, the medial geniculate body of thalamus, there will be auditory radiation. The axons of these neurons end up in the superior temporal gyrus, of the temporal lobe, where the sound or the speech is perceived. This entire tract from the pinna to the level of cerebral cortex is the process sensory neural pathway of hearing. So to summarize in a simplest way, if you understand a relay race where more than one person is there, this first person is handing over the information to the next person. That first person name is spiral ganglia. The second person name, actually three set of people are there, the ventral and dorsal cochlear nucleus, trapezoid body and superior olivary nucleus, this one, superior olivary nucleus, these three sets, And the third person to hand over the information is the inferior colliculus of the midbrain, And the fourth person to take the information is medial geniculate body of thalamus, Ultimately, the information reaches this area of the temporal lobe, that is called superior temporal gyrus. Temporal lobe, this part of the brain is called the temporal lobe. So it reaches here, and the process is called auditory radiation because it appears like a sun rays or a sunflower. Auditory radiation, where the temporal lobe, primary auditory cortex, the sense of Hearing is perceived, either the sound or the speech is perceived. Thank you for watching and learning from Logic Medico. Kindly subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon and the thumbs up icon if you gain some information from this video. Thank you once again. Bye.